Well, I'm by myself today, heading up to Bold Lake to see if we can catch some splake. It's about 10 to 1 and a balmy 7 degrees out, so it should be a heck of a lot nicer than on the weekend. Road's good so far, but it's always good till hydro, so we'll see after that. Well, just past hydro. Roads are definitely not plowed, but it's not fresh powder like Sunday morning, so it's not too bad driving. Cruising at about 80, so about average what you do down here in the winter, so we should make decent time there. It's about 1 o'clock now, so 1:45, I'd say I should probably be on the lake. Well, oops, blew a snowshoe. Well, we're heading into Bold now. We're going in on the main trail this time, and by we I mean myself, because normal people have jobs. Now that's a truck. It was about 20 to 2, so my driving time was right on. I'll turn this back on when I get to the ice. Well, made it out to the lake. Sweat a bit on the way down, which is probably a bad sign that I'm going to sweat on the way up, but made it out here, and I was hoping to find some sticks to give me an idea on where to go. I haven't fished this landing or entry point in a few years, so I guess I'll drill some holes and we'll see if we can find a splake or two. So this is my standby tip-up rig. You got a little split shot. Camera doesn't want to focus. You got a split shot about 6 inches above a circle hook. For splake, I like a number 6. Or 4, pardon me. And I find this an invaluable tool for this rig. I think they're just called depth finders. They clip on, and when you're using a light rig like this, you put it on and pick your depth, pull it back up, take that off, and you're set. It lets you find bottom for sure instead of just guessing, which is sometimes a problem with a light setup like this. I'm also trying the button that's supposed to be the big thing with some tip-up fishermen. So once I find my depth I want, I set the button to just underneath the spool of my tip-up, so if I happen to catch a fish and he pulls out a whole bunch of line, I can just reel up to the button and I'll be at the same depth as I was before the fish hit, and hopefully that's where the fish want it to be. So we'll see how this works. course, bells on tip-ups are a standard for me, especially in snow like this. Well, I can't zoom or anything, but the snow's about knee-deep right now, so unless I cleared a path from here to where I'm sitting, the flag could go up and I wouldn't even see it, because it's a bit banged up over the years. And so bells and setting out like this are keys of mine for catching brook trout and splake. This is also my first trip out using a fly reel. So last night I pulled off all the fly line that I had, and don't know if you can see, but I wrapped a few sheets of rubber foam around there to help fill up the arbor. I hope that's the right technical term. Then I put on about 150 yards or so of braided backing, and then I put on a spool of Trilene XL. It's a lot of people use them for pan fishing. Apparently the advantages are supposed to be no line twist, because it's not twisting around a spool, and you're supposed to get really good sensitivity out of it. So I guess a setback would be that you don't have a drag, so you gotta use your thumb, or palm, like if you were open water fly fishing. It's I figured I'd try it, and it couldn't really hurt anything. It didn't cost me any money. I had all the stuff at home anyway, so we'll see if I can catch trout on this and see if it's all it's cracked up to be. They did say that it works best for shallow water fishing, so under 20 feet or so, because reels generally are geared 4-to-1, 5-to-1, so for every time you do a rotation, it takes 4 times that amount of line around your spool. But with a fly reel, most of them are 1-to-1, so for one crank you get one wrap around. So it takes longer to reel in, and it takes longer to get down, but we'll see how it goes. If you've ever read my written blog, coreythecowboy.livejournal.com, you'll know that one of my favorite baits for lures, for splake, and even speck some days, is this perch colored knockoff sonar. I have no idea who makes it. I have no idea where it came from. It showed up in my tackle box one day. I find working this thing 6 inches to 2 feet off the bottom is a deadly lure. If you happen to know who makes these, you could leave a comment, and that would be great. Well, I've moved my jigging hole a bit. We're in about just lost a fish. So I moved my hole. I'm in about 7 feet of water now. Tip up over there is in about 5, and kind of wish I would have brought my sunglasses. It's pretty bright out here. Hopefully this fish will come back though, and I can get something on camera to actually show you guys instead of just me talking to you while I stare into a black hole. I gave up on the little sonar for now and switched up a bit. So I have just a gold and silver spoon with a swivel up top, swivel on the bottom. Swivel goes to buckshot rattle jig. Makes lots of noise. So I'm gonna stick a minnow on there and throw her down and see if that changes my luck at all. We got a Splake sitting right under here playing with my minnow. We'll see if we can get him to hit it. Well, we just came back from checking the tip up, and after losing the fish there, I came back and jig picked up my rod and was just pulling it up to the top of the hole to see if still a minnow, and this guy showed up. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to test the fly reel because he hit and then just about jumped right out of the hole. So, but one fish, so action. Hopefully that means you're going to start biting. He spit up this little guy when he came out of the hole, so obviously they're feeding on perch, which is the main forage in this lake. But obviously you can't use them for bait in Ontario, so just have to try to imitate. Just jigging a Swedish pimple knockoff that looks like a perch, and there's this guy. I used the fly reel as a reel this time instead of just pulling up, and first impression was pretty cool. Got to control the runs a lot more. That sounded awkward, but you got to control the runs a lot more than with the spinning reel, and we'll see how the rest of the day goes. Well, I'm heading home. I ended up catching one more Splake off the tip up finally. He was the biggest of the day, probably about 18 inches. It was overall a pretty good day. Action wasn't as hot as I would have liked it, but for the first time fishing that spot in 2 years, I thought I did pretty good. So no complaints from me, and now I'm just driving home with Siege the Moose and Hank Williams. So that's all for this video, and hope you enjoyed it, and good luck if you go fishing. Shells in the back there. Yeah. 16.